Now, a lot of people who have been following me from the start know that before cracking all the major colleges, entrances exam and interviews, there was a time when I actually failed my first entrance exam and first interview round. Not because I wasn't good enough, but because I gave very generic answers to everyone. Each one of them gave a very memorized answers to every interview, and I didn't had a proper structure and proper format to follow, and I didn't know which college expects what. And going after having a 1 year gap and preparing myself a lot, I have understood what each college look for and how are you supposed to answer your interview questions very strategically. So in this video, I will be breaking down everything, and I'll also provide you with sample answers. So these are the list of questions that are mostly asked in almost all the interviews of Christ University, because these are the assessing benchmark that they have set up for the students. Now I have interacted with a lot of professors and a lot of students as well as to what Christ looks for the students. So they obviously look for what, who are you, why are you subscribing to this course college, are you adaptable for a lot of different co-curricular or a lot of different diverse culture, because Christ is rich in culture. So they'll assess that and your basic knowledge, subject knowledge, your self-awareness, honesty, and they assess a lot more. So based on that comprehensive data and everything, these are the 8 questions that Christ definitely asks students, and I'll give you a sample answer to prepare plus a structure to follow. So make sure to watch the video till the very end, and if you're new to my channel, then make sure to hit the subscribe button. So it is only going to motivate me to create more and more valuable content for you, because this is the one YouTube channel that extensively talks about any new courses, recent changes, admission process, how to crack interviews, about colleges, book recommendations, everything related to psychology and education, and a lot more. So make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with recent changes and everything happening in this field right now. So without further delay, let's get started with the video and let's help you crack that entrance exam and interview. Now, the first question that you are generally going to come across, not just from Christ but also other colleges, also a lot of job interviews, is tell me about yourself. As simple as this sounds, but it is very strategic answer to know yourself better and to keep yourself better, make yourself understood by the panel. So now you're not going to give them, no panel wants to know your entire life history and your hobbies, if you enjoy traveling. No, they don't want to know that. This is a very strategic question for which you have to reply with very strategically. So now the format that you need to follow is introduction. In your introduction, you need to tell your name, the city you come from, and your current academic background. Second is what has piqued your interest in psychology. Try to give your real life example as to why you are interested so much in this subject and the college itself. Third is your relevant experience, which can be your maybe hands-on experience or anything, or internship experience. So any relevant experience that you can share. Fourth is any skills and strengths that you have, or if you have received any certifications or any skills that that will add a lot of value to the college course and everything. Fifth is why masters and what are your future goals. So when you tell this in 10 seconds each, this is a great format that you can follow to tell about yourself. So now the sample answer following that framework could be, hi, my name is Maliha. I am from Hyderabad. I have completed my bachelor's from Hyderabad as well, from St. Francis College. And I am mostly passionate about this course, and the thing that has piqued my interest in this subject is that I have seen a lot of my close relatives go to therapy, and it has actually made a difference in their life in terms of their mental well-being and everything. And since then it has really piqued my interest to study more about the subject, and I've also helped one of a friend with anxiety just by being there with her. Small interventions can do a lot more is when I realized that, and I would like to learn more about it so that I can practice more evidence-based techniques. I've interned at Child Development Center, NGOs, or worked with OCD patients to give ERP sessions for them under a supervision of a psychiatrist. So my main goal is that I want to become a psychologist and I want to practice evidence-based techniques. So contribute my meaningful work in the research area, because then you can say what research you are drawn towards, so that it also reflects that you have future plans as well. So now this can sound a little extensive, but you, depending on your work, try to concise it a bit and give direct points, and also appear very confident while giving your tell me about yourself answer. And the reason why this answer is going to work is, firstly, you are giving them that you are self-aware. Second is that you are actually sharing your real life example with them and not providing any generic answer like I'm passionate about it and people come to me when they have problems. No, you're giving a direct example, real life. And third is that it is aligning with psychology and they're able to connect the dots over here. So this is the reason that this answer is and this framework is going to work for you. Now the second question that Christ definitely asks its students is, why Christ? Why do you want to get into Christ? And the panel obviously does not want to hear that you have selected it because it's the best in the field and it's the most recognized, it has a lot of facilities and all. No, they don't want to hear that. This is a strategic question to understand if you have understood about the college culture, because if I talk specifically about Christ, it is very very rich in culture, and there are people coming from diverse backgrounds, diverse different cities, states and everything. So it is very culturally rich, and it gives a lot of emphasis on co-curricular activities and everything. So they want to understand if you actually get the gist of the college that you are applying to. So that now, instead of saying that it is the best and all of that, you can say something like, now the sample answer that you can say is like, I prefer Christ because this university culture aligns with the structure I personally need. I thrive in environments where I can step out of my comfort zone and also meet culturally diverse people. And this environment combines with discipline with exposure, and Christ is known for its structured academic schedule, continuous evaluation, opportunities like internship, clubs, extracurriculars, and research cells. After failing my first interview attempt elsewhere, I realized that I thrive in systems that push consistency, and Christ offers exactly that, which is a mix of structure and personal professional training. So I am really looking forward to getting admission in this university. Now, why this answer is going to work is because it tells the panel that you're aware about the college culture, because every college looks for students who align with their culture. So it gives the impression that you know about it. Second is it's very college centric, so the panel is obviously going to like the answer. Third, it is not generic. You are telling exactly what you feel. You're not telling like just because it's famous I want to apply and all. No, you're not telling that. And it also shows self-awareness when you're giving examples, real life situations and everything. So that is the reasons this framework is going to definitely work for you. Now the third question and the most important is, why are you selecting this particular course? Now here they want to see why you're passionate about it. Yes, you are passionate, but why? So here try to give a real life example. Like for example, I told you and tell me about yourself that a lot of my relatives went to therapy and there was a noticeable shift in their emotional well-being, and I would like to practice it, something like that. Or you can also tell that I was not very well aware of the subject, but when I came into the discipline and actually studied about it, it has piqued my interest a lot more when I was learning about the experiments, when I was learning about different approaches to psychology, different schools of thought. And the thing that I love about psychology is that I'm actually able to apply whatever I learn in the real life. Like for example, face in the door technique, or any experiment like classical conditioning and all. For example, all of the students, whenever rings in the school, we immediately want to go for lunch if it's time. So I'm able to relate all of this, and it just makes a perfect lot of sense. So that is the reason I'm mostly drawn towards this course. So this is also the answer that I gave in my interview, and the panel loved it, and I gave a lot of real life examples. So make sure to do that. And the fourth question the criers definitely ask is about your accommodation and living plans. Now, I have made a previous video about why you should not get into Christ, or why a lot of dropouts happen in Christ. Is because students come from different cities, they leave their hometown, and suddenly they are on their own. They have to live very independently and everything. And a lot of times, students who cannot thrive in areas outside of their comfort zone or anything, they face a lot of difficulties adjusting to this culture. So Christ wants to know if you have ever lived alone, if you can live independently, what are your accommodations look like, do you have support system in this city that you are going to shift if you get admission, and are you like, did you book any accommodation plans, any PG or anything. So they want to understand that if you will really continue and if you have what it takes and you won't drop out from this college. So they are going to test you on basis of that. So you can say something like, yes, I'm comfortable relocating. I've already researched accommodation near the campus and I have prepared myself for independent living in terms of finances, safety, and routine. I also believe moving out teaches you a lot of discipline, time management, and emotional maturity, which I really appreciate, and all of which I want to develop going forward. So this is something that you can tell very short, very crisp, and to the point, and it also shows that you are ready for all the challenges that are going to come up. Now, fifth thing is whatever subject you are applying for, be it psychology or any other else, there will be a lot of questions from the academic path as well. Like, for example, they can ask you about any of the theories or any of the psychologists, your favorite psychologist, your favorite experiment, or they can ask you anything related to any of the subtopic. So be prepared, be well researched about all the basics in your subject so you can answer them confidently. Now, these will not be a lot of like, very out of the box question. Will be from your academics only, so you can do it a lot better. So in my so in my interview when I was giving it for psychology, they asked me a lot of questions from biological basis of behavior, like a role of amygdala and certain neurotransmitters and everything. So these are the things they ask me, but you have to be prepared with all the thing. Anyways, you will obviously be prepared when you're giving for entrance exam. So just brush up on all of the academic things as well before your interview round. Sixth question is, there is a high possibility that they can ask you very situational questions in order to assess your mindfulness, presence of mind, and in term critical thinking, decision making, and all of that scenarios. So the thing that about situational questions, that one of the example that I can give you is, your teammate is not cooperating, what you will do. Now, since class has a lot of clubs and a lot of extracurriculars, this is a common scenario that I thought can help you to understand the dynamics. Is that you can answer something like, I'll first try to understand the reason, whether it's stress, confusion, lack of clarity, and I'll initiate a calm conversation and set small actionable steps and ensure that responsibilities are shared equally among the team members. If nothing improves, I'll obviously bring it up to the teacher's notice, faculty, whoever is present, and not as a complaint, but just so that they can get right guidance from mostly preferred individual or trusted adult nearby. So you can say something that it shows that you are emotionally mature, you are able to handle conflicts, and you have the skills for resolution and teamwork. Seventh and the last question is that, what are your strengths and weakness? Now, in here, don't make a mistake of saying that I am a over perfectionist and a lot of that you come across in reels and everything. Don't try to say that, because they are obviously on social media and they are going to know that you're just giving a jargon heavy answer. You have practiced about this. Try to keep it as honest as possible, and you could say something like, one of my strength is emotional awareness. I can sense when people in group are uncomfortable or stressed. It has been that way since my childhood. And my weakness is that I over prepare or perform bad under pressure, like how I messed up my first interview like last year and something like that. And but after reflecting and also learning and also structuring my responses and everything, now I'm able to deliver my thoughts with a lot of more clarity. So these are the few strengths and weakness I feel I have right now, but I'm actively working on my weaknesses. So this is gonna work because you are actually telling a strength weakness which no one mostly talks about, like emotional awareness as your strength, and weakness you over prepare yourself. Like this feels relatable also, like okay, you must have that. So because it feels relatable and you're giving your real life example, the panel is going to take it in. Now the thing is, whenever I have given any example, these are very related to my own. Now you can obviously give your own examples, try to reflect on your things in terms of all the questions so that you can give your customized answer. But the framework that I have given you, try to follow that to keep your interview as effective and as successful as possible. But just you have to understand the college culture and what they're looking for and try to deliver that if it is aligning with you. And so this is pretty much all the 7 questions, sample answers people usually, the mistakes they make and how to avoid them, combined all in all in an interview. I hope the video was helpful. And if you like, and if you're still confused, if you like to practice mock interview with me, you can always reach out to me. I'll be taking your work one-on-one mentoring session for any confusion or guidance, and I'll also take your mock interviews in order to appear for the Christ interview. So if you are in for something like that, you can always email me or DM me on Instagram, which is Humble Help, and I'll get back to you. So all the best for your entrance exam and interview, and do well.